What's more important, Sabbath or life? Do we just love emotionally or in action? Do we build on the rock or worldly shifting sands? Let's look at Luke 6. What did the disciples do on a Sabbath that made the Pharisees question Jesus? On a Sabbath, he passed through the grain fields. His disciples were picking heads of grain, rubbing them in their hands, and eating them. But some of the Pharisees said, "Why are you doing what's not lawful on the Sabbath?" Jesus answered them, "Haven't you read what David and those who were with him did when he was hungry? How he entered the house of God and took and ate the sacred bread, which is not lawful for any but the priests to eat. He even gave some to those who were with him. Then he told them, 'The Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath.'" What did Jesus do on another Sabbath that made the Pharisees angry? Once on another Sabbath, Jesus went into a synagogue and began teaching. A man whose right hand was paralyzed was there. The scribes and the Pharisees were watching Jesus closely to see whether he would heal on the Sabbath, in order to find a way of accusing him of doing something wrong. But Jesus knew what they were thinking, so he told the man with the paralyzed hand, "Get up and stand in the middle of the synagogue." So he got up and stood there. Then Jesus asked them, "I ask you, is it lawful to do good or to do evil on the Sabbath? To save a life or to destroy it?" He looked around at all of them and then told the man, "Hold out your hand." The man did so, and his hand was restored to health. The others were furious and began to discuss with each other what they could do to Jesus. What were the names of the 12 apostles? And it came to pass in those days that he went out into a mountain to pray, and continued all night in prayer to God. And when it was day, he called to him his disciples, and of them he chose 12, whom he named apostles: Simon, whom he also named Peter, and Andrew his brother, James and John, Philip and Bartholomew, Matthew and Thomas, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon called Zelotes, and Judas the brother of James, and Judas Iscariot, who also was the traitor. Did Jesus come down from the mountain to a level plain? And Jesus came down with them and stood on a level place. And there was a large crowd of his disciples, and a great multitude of people from all Judea and Jerusalem, and the coastal region of Tyre and Sidon, who had come to hear him and to be healed of their diseases. And those who were troubled with unclean spirits were being cured. And all the crowd was trying to touch him, for power was coming from him, and healing them all. Unlike the Sermon on the Mount, does the Sermon on the Plain contrast 4 beatitudes and 4 woes? And he raised his eyes toward his disciples and began saying, "Blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who are hungry now, for you'll be satisfied. Blessed are you who weep now, for you'll laugh. Blessed are you when the people hate you, and when they exclude you, and insult you, and scorn your name as evil, on account of the Son of Man. Rejoice on that day, and jump for joy, for behold, your reward's great in heaven. For their fathers used to treat the prophets the same way. But woe to you who are rich, for you're receiving your comfort in full. Woe to you who are well fed now, for you'll be hungry. Woe to you who laugh now, for you'll mourn and weep. Woe to you when all the people speak well of you, for their fathers used to treat the false prophets the same way." What did Jesus say about love of our enemies? "But to you who are listening, I say, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who mistreat you. If someone slaps you on one cheek, turn to them the other also. If someone takes your coat, don't withhold your shirt from them. Give to everyone who asks you. And if anyone takes what belongs to you, don't demand it back. Do to others as you would have them do to you. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. Is love just an emotion, or does it also involve action? And if you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. And if you lend to those from whom you hope to receive back, what credit is that to you? For even sinners lend to sinners to receive as much back. But love your enemies, do good, and lend, hoping for nothing in return. And your reward will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High. For he is kind to the unthankful and evil. Therefore be merciful, just as your Father also is merciful. Did Jesus teach about a critical, judgmental spirit? Don't judge others, and you won't be judged. Don't condemn others, or it'll all come back against you. Forgive others, and you'll be forgiven. Give, and you'll receive. Your gift will return to you in full, pressed down, shaken together to make room for more, running over, and poured into your lap. The amount you give will determine the amount you get back. Do we need to be fully trained before teaching, or just ad lib? He spoke a parable to them. Can the blind guide the blind? Won't they both fall into a pit? A disciple's not above his teacher, but everyone, when he's fully trained, will be like his teacher. Do we acknowledge the log in our own eyes? Why do you see the splinter in your brother's or sister's eye, but don't notice the log in your own eye? How can you say to your brother or sister, "Brother, sister, let me take the splinter out of your eye," when you don't see the log in your own eye? You deceive yourselves. First take the log out of your eye, and then you'll see clearly to take the splinter out of your brother's or sister's eye. How can we tell what's in people's hearts? Is discernment different from judgmentalism? A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot produce good fruit. You can tell what a tree's like by the fruit it produces. You cannot pick figs or grapes from thorn bushes. Good people do good things because of the good in their hearts, but bad people do bad things because of the evil in their hearts. Your words show what's in your heart. Do we build on the rock or worldly shifting sands? Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do what I tell you? Everyone who comes to me and hears my words and does them, I'll show you what he's like. He's like a man building a house, who dug deep and laid the foundation on the rock. And when a flood arose, the stream broke against that house and couldn't shake it, because it had been well built. But the one who hears and doesn't do them is like a man who built a house on the ground without a foundation. When the stream broke against it, immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. What's more important, Sabbath or life? Do we just love emotionally or in action? Do we build on the rock or worldly shifting sands? You decide.